In a city built on stories, one actress has turned her own life into the most unexpected one of all. Blake Lively, known for her effortless poise and carefully curated image, is now standing at the center of a legal storm that threatens to rewrite everything the public thought they knew about her. It started with a film, It Ends With Us, and a scene that was supposed to celebrate life. But what happened behind that camera has become one of Hollywood's most unsettling controversies. A birth video, a lawsuit, a string of sanctions and filings that now read like a thriller script no one meant to write. At the heart of it are three names: Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni, and Jamie Heath, caught in a web of accusation, denial, and personal exposure that has blurred the line between art and exploitation. As the courts debate evidence and the headlines twist every word, one question hangs in the air. Was this a fight for justice, or the most calculated PR move of Blake Lively's career? Because what began as a dispute over a creative decision has spiraled into something far darker, a story about trust, control, and the cost of protecting a reputation in a world that never forgets. And when the truth finally surfaces, it may not be the victory anyone expected. In the shifting landscape of Hollywood, where image and perception often shape careers as much as talent does, few stories have blended fame, controversy, and legal drama quite like the one surrounding Blake Lively and the ongoing Wayfair lawsuit. It began as a creative disagreement, but over time, it evolved into something far more personal, a story that now touches on privacy, ethics, and how far public figures will go to defend their version of the truth. The lawsuit that wouldn't fade. By the time the latest motion was filed, this wasn't just another celebrity headline. It had become a tangled web of filings, accusations, and counterclaims. At the center of it stood Blake Lively, her legal team, and an unexpected focus, a birth video that once served as creative inspiration for a scene in It Ends With Us. Now, that same video was being used as evidence in a heated courtroom fight. According to filings, Blake's attorneys accused Jamie Heath, a producer tied to Wayfair and Justin Baldoni's team, of failing to turn over the full version of a personal video depicting his wife, Natasha Heath, giving birth at home. The video, they said, was the key to proving Blake's account, that she had been shown something she found deeply disturbing, something she hadn't agreed to watch. But Jamie's version painted a different picture entirely. He claimed that during the filming of It Ends With Us, director Justin Baldoni had suggested showing the clip as creative reference, a way to capture authenticity in a birth scene. It was not explicit, he said. It was a raw, natural moment of childbirth, shared in good faith, not as a shock tactic. Blake's latest filing wasn't her first. In fact, it was one of several motions for sanctions her team had brought before the court. Observers noted that this could have been the 7th or 8th time she'd asked a judge to penalize someone connected to the case. Each motion seemed to follow a familiar rhythm, an accusation that key evidence had been withheld, followed by a demand for punishment or restrictions on what the other side could say. This time, the demand was extraordinary. Blake's lawyers weren't just asking the court to compel Jamie Heath to release additional footage. They wanted the judge to forbid him from testifying about the incident at all. If granted, it would mean the jury could only hear Blake's story, her version unchallenged, uncontested, complete. It was a bold legal strategy, one that left many wondering what the real endgame was. Was this about justice, or was it about control over the narrative and over how the story would be remembered? For most people, a home birth video is something intimate, a memory shared only between family. For Natasha Heath, it was that and more, the recording of the moment she became a mother. Now, that same moment was being dissected in public filings, with strangers debating its contents and its meaning. Blake's team claimed the version of the video they received, a 3-minute, 29-second clip, was incomplete. They insisted that somewhere, there existed a longer version that would support Blake's memory of what she saw. Jamie Heath maintained that the clip was complete, the same one he had shown her. His wife, Natasha, reportedly consented to its use only within the context of filmmaking, not for public exhibition in court. For Natasha, the fallout was deeply personal. She wasn't a party to the lawsuit. Yet her body, her experience, her private moment had become evidence and, in the eyes of some, ammunition. The very idea of that video being replayed in a courtroom, or worse, discussed across social media, was painful. As the filings multiplied, contradictions began to surface. In some of her statements, Blake lively described the moment as shocking, saying she believed she was being shown explicit material. In others, she framed it as an act of humiliation. But behind-the-scenes clips from the It Ends With Us set told a different story. Newly surfaced footage showed Blake, Jamie Heath, Justin Baldoni, and Natasha on set together, laughing and speaking warmly. Everyone seemed at ease. There was no sign of tension, no discomfort, no hostility. To many observers, it raised a question. How could the same woman who appeared so relaxed with those people later claim to have been traumatized by them? Even Justin Baldoni himself, who had directed It Ends With Us, appeared taken aback by the growing accusations. Those who worked on set described an atmosphere of collaboration, not coercion. They said that Blake, as both lead actress and producer, was fully involved in every creative choice. In the footage, she often appeared confident, commanding, even far from powerless. At this point, the lawsuit had become more than a legal dispute. It had transformed into a battle over perception. Blake's side argued that she had been wronged, that her ability to win the case was being sabotaged because key evidence was being withheld. Wayfair's attorneys, on the other hand, countered that Blake's claims were both exaggerated and inconsistent. In court documents, Wayfair argued that they had already complied with every order to produce materials. They had turned over the video, they said, and nothing more existed that was relevant or responsive. They accused Blake's team of using the issue to manufacture drama, to create the illusion of obstruction where there was none. Observers began to notice a pattern. Each time Blake faced a setback, a claim dismissed, a ruling delayed, a new filing would appear, often accompanied by a flurry of headlines. Some legal analysts suggested these filings had less to do with the courtroom and more to do with public opinion. They called it legal theater, a strategy designed to keep her narrative alive even as the case itself began to lose momentum. Amid all the noise, one person remained largely silent, Natasha Heath. Her name appeared in court documents and media coverage, yet her voice was absent. Those who knew her described her as gentle, spiritual, and devoted to helping other mothers. She was a postpartum care specialist, deeply rooted in her South American heritage and passionate about supporting women through childbirth. Now, she found herself unwillingly turned into a symbol, not of empowerment, but of exposure. Her most private moment had become the subject of legal arguments and public speculation. To some, it was more than uncomfortable, it was cruel. Commentators pointed out the irony. Blake Lively, an actress long celebrated for championing women's rights and dignity, was now pushing to use another woman's intimate moment as leverage in court. It was a contradiction that lingered in every article, every conversation about the case. As months passed, one question kept surfacing. Why continue? If the case was faltering, if many of her claims had already been dismissed, why press on with motions that seemed to lead nowhere? Some believed Blake was trying to preserve her reputation, to ensure that even if she lost in court, she wouldn't lose in the public eye. Others thought she was genuinely convinced that she had been wronged and was determined to be heard, no matter the cost. And then there were those who saw something more strategic, a calculated attempt to frame herself as the victim of a powerful production company, led by men who allegedly silenced her. Whatever the motive, the strategy was working, at least in part. Each new filing sparked headlines. Each hearing brought fresh waves of commentary and speculation. The story had outgrown the lawsuit. It had become entertainment. The media's fascination was inevitable. The idea of a Hollywood star locked in a bitter legal fight with producers from Wayfair and Justin Baldoni's circle had all the ingredients of a modern scandal: power, gender, and blurred boundaries. But coverage often missed the nuance. The legal details were dense, buried beneath emotional rhetoric and viral soundbites. Every new motion for sanctions became a headline about Blake's shocking claim. Every response from the other side was reduced to a footnote. The result was a lopsided narrative, one that reinforced public sympathy for Blake, even as the factual foundation of her case grew weaker. A few independent journalists and commentators began pushing back, analyzing court documents and transcripts line by line. They noticed inconsistencies, dates that didn't align, descriptions that changed over time, and references to evidence that, when finally unsealed, didn't support the dramatic claims made online. Their conclusion was cautious but clear. The story was not as simple as it seemed. Inside the courtroom, the judge's patience was reportedly wearing thin. Repeated motions for sanctions had slowed proceedings to a crawl. At one point, Wayfair's lawyers requested additional time to respond, hoping to align their filings with upcoming summary judgment motions. The judge agreed, granting extensions that pushed deadlines into late November and December. For Blake's critics, that was proof that some filings were designed for publicity rather than progress. They argued that if her team had truly wanted quick justice, they would have resisted delays. Instead, the extensions gave her time to shape public perception, to present herself as the one fighting against a system that refused to listen. Beyond the courtroom, the case had unintended consequences. Within Hollywood, it sparked uneasy conversations about the risks of working on emotionally charged projects. If a creative discussion about a birth scene could spiral into years of litigation, what would that mean for future productions? Some producers quietly admitted they might think twice before collaborating with high-profile actors on sensitive material. Female directors in particular worried that stories centered on women's experiences, especially topics like birth, motherhood, or trauma, could now be treated as potential legal liabilities. Ironically, Justin Baldoni and his company Wayfair had long been advocates for female representation behind the camera. Their projects had employed numerous women in leadership roles, something even critics acknowledged. Now, they found themselves portrayed as villains in a lawsuit that, to them, felt both unfair and deeply personal. Meanwhile, the court's docket continued to swell. The judge had recently issued rulings not only on Blake's motions, but also on a related case involving the New York Times. That case, too, had been dismissed, but its closure was delayed while the court decided on attorney's fees. Until that issue was settled, no party could appeal, leaving everyone in legal limbo. For Justin Baldoni and Wayfair, the delay was frustrating. They wanted closure, the ability to move forward and rebuild their reputations. But for Blake Lively, the pause may have served a different purpose. It kept the story alive, an unresolved narrative that could still be shaped, still be spun. In Hollywood, reputation is currency. A single narrative told persuasively enough can eclipse facts, timelines, even rulings. And Blake Lively's legal saga had become exactly that, a story powerful enough to blur truth and fiction. Supporters viewed her as a woman standing up against a machine that tried to silence her. Critics saw something else entirely, a celebrity using her platform to reframe defeat as victimhood. Both sides found evidence to support their views. Both clung to their interpretations as if they were truth itself. Lost in all of this was the human cost. Behind every filing, every article, were people: Jamie Heath, Natasha Heath, Justin Baldoni, and countless others whose names might never appear in headlines, but whose lives were upended by the fallout. For Natasha, especially, the ordeal was deeply personal. Friends said she had retreated from social media, choosing silence over self-defense. She continued her work with new mothers, focusing on healing rather than attention. But the shadow of the lawsuit lingered, a reminder that even the most private moment can become a weapon when fame and litigation collide. What began as a legal dispute between an actress and a production company had evolved into a reflection of something larger: how fame, media, and the justice system intersect in unpredictable ways. Each motion, each response, each leaked snippet of evidence became part of a broader conversation about accountability, trust, and the blurred boundaries between personal truth and public narrative. And yet, beneath all the speculation, one quiet fact remained: no court ruling could restore what had been lost. Not the time, not the trust, Not the privacy that had once surrounded that simple, personal moment, a home birth, meant to celebrate life, now immortalized in legal text. As of now, the Wayfair case remains unresolved, its threads stretching across jurisdictions and appeals. The court has yet to issue a final word on the sanctions motion, and observers continue to debate what the outcome will mean for everyone involved. For Blake Lively, it's another chapter in a career defined as much by reinvention as by success. For Justin Baldoni and Wayfair, it's a cautionary tale about the fragility of trust in creative partnerships. And for Natasha Heath, it's a deeply human story, one of dignity tested in ways no one should ever have to endure. In the end, the Blake Lively lawsuit may not be remembered for its verdict, but for what it revealed about the industry that produced it. An industry where stories are crafted, reputations are managed, and truth is often the first casualty of conflict. When the dust settles, and eventually it will, what will remain are the questions this case forced everyone to confront. Where is the line between personal privacy and public accountability? At what point does defending one's image become an act of harm toward others? And can a single moment, frozen in time, define or destroy the people involved? In the quiet spaces between filings and headlines, those questions still echo. They remind us that behind every lawsuit, behind every public feud, are human beings navigating pain, pride, and perception, each believing their version of the story is the one worth telling. For now, the case of Blake Lively versus Wayfair stands as both a caution and a mirror, reflecting not just a legal battle, but the delicate balance between truth, power, and the stories we choose to believe. In the end, this story was never just about a lawsuit. It was about how power, perception, and pride collide in the most public way possible. Blake Lively's case against Wayfair, Jamie Heath, and Justin Baldoni has revealed something deeper about Hollywood itself, a world where truth is negotiable, privacy is temporary, and every narrative can be rewritten if told loudly enough. For Jamie and Natasha Heath, it was a test of dignity, a reminder that personal moments can be weaponized in the name of justice. For Justin Baldoni and his team, it was a battle to protect integrity and creative intent in a culture that often confuses art with exploitation. And for Blake Lively, it became a defining chapter in a career that has long balanced authenticity with image, forcing the world to ask where performance ends and reality begins. When the courtroom lights dim and the news cycle moves on, the real question remains. Was this a pursuit of truth or a carefully staged act in the theater of reputation? Only time will tell which version of this story survives. If this investigation gave you a clearer look behind the headlines, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more stories that uncover the truths Hollywood doesn't want you to see.